Tonight, did the New York DA simply decide not to arrest former president and sentient burp Donald J. Trump? Or was that Floridian booger eater simply craving attention when he truthed out something silly after the cameras were off of him for literally half a second? All this and more tonight on America, the podcast presents America, the Conversation. Hello and welcome to America the Conversation. I am one of your hosts, Tim Philippi, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Andrew Turner. What's up, bud?
Where am I?
I don't know anymore, because in this past week, we've been living in a world where Donald Trump is about to be arrested and then just straight the fuck up didn't. And it's not, you know what? Joke's on us for believing. Did we all realize that he's the one that said he was going to get arrested? Yeah. No one else said that. The DA didn't say that. He said that.
When the little boy that cries wolf comes up to you and goes, listen, no, really, this time it's a wolf and it's here to arrest me. Maybe you shouldn't listen.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like, I think like he got us all excited. The problem is
at the end of that story, there was wolves.
Yeah. The problem is that there are wolves circling the sheep right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also why would he say that? Like, you know what I mean? Like if he's saying that, I'm like, oh, fuck, then I actually I did believe him. We all believed him. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, I think it comes down to like he didn't know the day they were going to do this. He just got told by the district attorney in the Southern District of New York that like, hey, you should. Well, I'm sure the Secret Service got told you should start prepping for this. We need to start talking about how we're going to do this. And what happened is the Secret Service told him, of course, because they were like, well, Mr. President, we got to start getting prepped for you to be indicted because like there's security measures we have to take.
Right.
And then he just probably made up a day or was like, when's the next day does the grand jury meet? Tuesday. Well, I'm going to say Tuesday. And like he did it on a Friday because either that's when he learned it or he knew that's when he would get the most media buzz over the weekend. Either way, he fundraised $1.5 million off of
Oh my God.
First 48 hours.
Why does that not fucking surprise me? But like 5 people showed up to protest. God.
Well, I think there's a little bit of liberal arrogance there. I think, like, first off, we're not in the heat of the election.
No.
You know, like, second off, like, I think that people, a lot of people are waiting to see what happens with this whole primary. I think that a lot of hogs are scared about actually getting arrested this time because, like, I know that every single person that grew up with me and you in Colleyville, Texas, that went to January 6th as we were watching it on our laptops.
So many people from our hometown. Ugh.
Yeah, Colleyville has the highest number of January 6th rioters per capita. But I think that all those people, you know, they were rich, upper class, white people, you know, that are pretty hardcore Republican, usually evangelical Christians, and they had the money, time, and effort. A lot of them were retired to like fly out to DC and do that, and they were all hyped up, right? They believed that Trump was going to overturn the election.
Real quick,
as opposed to this time,
one of the funnest things I love about that, like when the like March for Our Lives protest or the women's rights protest and the March for Science, all of those happened. All those sides of people were saying, well, why don't they? One, the women's protest happened on Saturday. Just a preamble to this, but they're yelling about like why aren't they at their jobs? How are they all these are rich people just going out to protest, yada yada yada. It's literally the case with all the January 6th
people.
It's
almost like they're hypocrites.
Oh, is that what that word means? Oh shit. Okay.
I mean, like, I'll not get too much on a tangent on this, but I will say about like protesting, like. Protesting is always going to be people that are unemployed, people that are employed, people that are old, people that are young, people that are like of different political ideologies that are allying on one thing. Look at France right now, you know?
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh, my God. They're about to bring back the guillotine.
Power to them.
Yeah.
There's a reason that France gets, you know, essentially 4-day work weeks and paid vacation and paid family leave and a pension plan for everyone that's fully funded and like all these awesome benefits that a government in the modern world should provide, free healthcare, because they fight for it. Anytime they don't like something, they set Paris on fire. And I respect that about them. We should set more American cities on fire. That's a joke. I didn't mean that. Anyways.
We should set them on fire with our passion.
we should metaphorically set them on fire with voting.
Like a metaphorical political revolution of Bernie Sanders.
That it starts a fire.
Yeah. Can we put chariots of fire as we protest, or that's probably copyright infringement? Well, no, they might allow it. Survivor's pretty cool.
I think they try to discredit protesting, but protesting and rioting is the last resort of a people unheard, to paraphrase JFK. Like, I think that if it's gotten to the point that people are burning down Arby's and taking from Kmart and like burning down police stations, like, then there's an inherently systematic problem that's deeper than the fact that people are angry, right? Like, what they're angry about is more important than the property damage that happens. Lives are more important than property. But I mean, like, it's kind of like, I don't think that a lot of those rioters should have gotten a long time in prison. I don't. I think that they should have gotten slapped on the wrist and been told, like, if you do this again, you will go to prison. But I think the leadership should have gone to prison. It's a federal building,
though, man. Like,
I agree with you, but it's property.
It's the house. I know it's property. It's whatever.
It's a thing, and I know, like, they should be slapped on the wrist. I'm saying big fines, like, be on probation for 6 years, like, whatever. Yeah. But like, the idea that somebody should go be put in a box and be dehumanized because they messed up an item, I think, no matter the scenario, is pretty stupid.
Yeah.
But I will say that, like, the people who organized that, the people who led to multiple cops having heart attacks, the people who led to Bobbitt
overthrow the government. Like,
I agree with you. I agree with you. But like, the average hogs that were like fucking walking in there, that were like,
old
this is our
lady
house.
that you see, there was a meme of her.
They weren't planning a coup. Like, there were people there that were there to kill representatives and senators, and they were there to do
but like when the average
they're not the vast
majority
saw
the gallows being erected and they started chanting "Hang Mike Pence," I mean, at a certain point, do you want to know something? Part of it too. Like,
if the Democrats put up a guillotine at a protest, a lot of us would be into it too. I don't know what to tell you. People like crowds.
It's a mob mentality. No, I get it.
Like, it's the same thing as a concert or a D&D campaign. Like, you're way more likely to start slaying people when your whole party goes, "Let's slay." I think that, you know, people follow the leader, and they don't even do it in the classical sense of, like, when we were raised growing up being told, or like, it's not like an active choice of like, yes, I will become a follower in this mob. It's a feeling, right? Like, it's like being at a sporting event. Like, you're just like, yes, I'm gonna march up there. We're gonna fucking show them. I think that's what it was.
I started a series on Netflix today just because I knew we were going to talk about all this, and it's been piquing my curiosity. But like, it's called "How to Become a Tyrant," and it mentioned, literally, you just might have quoted it verbatim. Like, people like to be part of a team, and that's what worked. Like, everyone's angry about something, and they're looking for someone to point their finger at and say, "You're the problem." Whether it's, like,
as a concept.
Say that again.
That's why partisan politics is stupid as a concept.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Allying with somebody just because they're in a party is stupid.
Sure.
Like,
because no one believes the exact same thing all around. We are all you and I don't even agree on some things. Like, I definitely don't agree with the Republicans or Democrats or anything. I don't agree with Bernie on some things, but like, it's okay. But like, just to fully align with that it's just, I mean, it's a micro nationalism almost in its sense. Like, it's just, why can't we all just get along? Is that so hard?
Look, no, you may disagree with me that Paddington 2 is the greatest cinematic masterpiece that the human beings have ever created, but I'm right, and you can just deal with that. That being said, I think that the protest aside, like, I don't think that they should have gotten that much trouble. I think the people that should have been in charge got in trouble. That includes Donald Trump first and foremost, right?
Yeah.
Like, he should be in prison for what he did that day. He got people killed. He did get a lot of, like, sacred imagery and, I guess, property damage.
Yeah.
Like, and he's the most responsible for it.
Sure.
Like, the guy who showed up, the zip tie guy in full body armor, with zip ties. Yeah, that guy should go to prison for a little
sure.
while.
The people that beat the shit out of the cop, I mean,
but like QAnon shaman, he needs fucking help.
Oh, like, yeah, that guy's straight up.
Like, a lot of those people need help. You know what they are? They're like working class people. Like, upper working class people that feel like their lives are being taken away from them, and they're told by Fox News that immigrants are coming to, like, rape their children and, like, take their pension funds.
Yeah.
And they believe it. And, like, if you, it's kind of like the QAnon stuff. Like, if you believed that there was a cabal of pedophiles, like, running the government that was secretly lizard people, like, of course no action you take is not unjustified, right? Is not justified, because if that were true, then you would be justified in whatever you did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I think that that's planned by a lot more people on top that are, whether they're trolls or they're capitalists trying to make money off of all this and power, they like to make people feel like they're part of a team and like there's a bigger conspiracy and like they can change the world through knowing these things, right, and acting on them.
Well, that's what
they can sell more. They can sell more diet pills and vitamins.
Well, that's what happened with Carrie Lake too. You know, the clip literally that got our first episode taken down by YouTube until I explained ourselves to the gods there. But like, she was like, just when they told her you need to chill out on the election denial, she like, well, but this is 100% true to me. Like, there was no getting in and out of like. She was fully in it. There was no convincing her otherwise. Like you cannot convince us that people don't deserve healthcare. You could not convince her that except ours is a bit more moral and sane. But yeah,
you see that to a lesser extent. But like we could have talked about this 10 years ago when things weren't this politically hot in tension, but was still true with like the Amerocentric on both the left and the right in America of like you tell people, you tell anybody over 40, 45, 50 years old, like, hey, it is harder for our generation to get a house and like go to college and like pay for rent and pay for food. And they will laugh at you. And you look at them and you're like, yo, you got a Chevy like truck and a house for $8,000 in 1972
all combined
while you went to college for another $5,000 and you were getting paid $33,000. Like, you don't understand how much easier you had it. And they're like, oh, well, you know, soy boy cuck latte, y'all are like Hollywood Disney gay. And it's like, but that doesn't matter. Like, economically, things are harder for me. And you're not acknowledging that. Like, you can't just walk into a store and ask for a job now. You have to have an internet connection to get a job. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, you can't walk into a job and go, hey, I'll work here for the next 40 years and leave with a decent pension. Like,
no, that's not how that works.
For more than 3 to 5 years. So it's a totally different economy. But the brainwashing of America is the greatest country in the world and our economy is always pretty great, even in the bad times. And we can always keep growing and there's always opportunity and it's your own fault that if you're down and bad on your luck, those ideas are so pervasive in our society and our culture that even though you can take the stats and like, look how much money's gone to the 1% in the past 50 years. Look at what has happened because we stopped taxing them. Look at what has happened because of the wars that we've had. Look at what has happened to low-income communities. Look at what happened to the cost of college and healthcare and rent, all while pay stays stagnant, all while inflation rises. You can point out all those charts and graphs and they'll look at you and be like, you're just not working hard enough. You need to stop buying Starbucks lattes. Like, that's what I mean is once you're invoked in the culture, once you have that team sport idea, it's why I don't like Democrats, even though I lean left, like far left. It's because the idea of the team sports, people will justify whatever the talking points are, right? And I think that we've proven that to the extreme in the age of the internet and the age of Trump, that if the talking points get crazier and crazier because you're reading crazier and crazier shit online on Facebook, and the party of representation responds to their base, you know, unlike the Dems do, the Republicans do that. They're going to keep going into the farther and farther right and craziness because the fact is their base demands it because they read it on freedomeaglepatriot.net. Fuck you. That Obama is making the FEMA camps into Jade Helm. Like, I remember sitting at a coffee shop.
All things that they believe, not what we believe.
In 2015, talking about Jade Helm.
Yeah.
I remember at
I just told my wife about that.
Yeah, talking about Jade Helm and being like, there are people at this coffee shop with us, Tim, that are our friends. Because that was pre-Trump.
Yeah.
That believe that Obama is going to round up people, put them in abandoned Walmarts, and take their DNA out for
Walmarts. What? Oh my God. Yeah.
No,
man. I remember Abbott saying like they're invading. The federal government's invading Texas. I'm like, no, they're just those troops just moved from one side of the state to another.
Jones.
Who?
Alex Jones.
No, Greg Abbott said it too.
Oh, did he say it
too? I might be wrong. Like y'all listening can correct us, but like I'm pretty sure like he said like that this invasion of Texas isn't gonna be okay. I'm like, they're federal soldiers.
When that never materialized, like they didn't stop and go, actually, let me rethink my news sources and like what I'm consuming.
Right.
Maybe like, and that's perfectly natural. I don't blame them for that. I get it. It is you have to train yourself to be able to like reading news is literacy. Like, you have to realize that every article you read is coming with a bias. And I don't mean that like to smear journalists. There are certainly plenty of hack journalists.
Oh, for sure.
On both sides. But every journal, like if I write something, this podcast is going to have an angle to it because we have angles to it because we're human, because we're not robots. Like we're going to even like unintentionally express our opinions and our angle in the way we do things. This happens with doctors and scientists.
We're also not news. Don't get your news from us. Go to get it from a fucking news source.
Yeah. I mean, get it from me. I'm right, but that's not the
point. Yes, fair enough.
I mean, like, I think that the problem is that in America we now have two separate realities. Well, we have multiple realities, of course, we always have, but there are two distinct realities in our politics, which is like this liberal, like, all you got to do is vote and like everything will change. And then this conservative, like, well, the pedophile pizza shop store owners are working with the pedophile senators, but not with the guy who went to the pedophile Epstein Island, only with the other guys who went to the pedophile Epstein Island who have a D by their name. And they're all milking adrenochrome from children so that they can live young forever because they're actually from Planet X. Planet Z, as they call it, Planet Z, not, and then it gets into flat Earth and JFK, the deeper you dive.
Yeah.
And I think that it becomes this warped reality of like no one watching Fox News and especially no one watching Alex Jones like is living under the same basis and concept of what you and I am about like what is going on in the world. And because of that, there's no talking to them about this kind of stuff. Like all we can do is tell libs like, hey, we need to do systematic change. And all libs can do is talk to centerists and go like, hey, maybe you should not hate gay people and black people. And all centerists can do is talk to conservatives and be like, hey, don't be a literal Nazi. And Nazis can walk off a fucking cliff. So I don't know what to tell you. I feel like all we can do is like do stuff like this, talk to our friends, you know, try to get people that are in the center to be like, hey, this is important. Do go vote, but also take actions beyond that. Do direct aid, like volunteer to protect drag shows, like and protest when asked by communities that are marginalized. Like I think use your body, your time, your effort, your money to make the world a better place in every way you can. But Tim, like these people that are brainwashed, they're not the problem,
right?
Like they're the soldiers, they're the foot soldiers of it. Don't get me wrong.
Is it brainwashing or is it? I'm sure it is definitely brainwashing, but is there a lack of sympathy? That's literally everywhere, but like sympathy for anybody, like because like you were talking about, oh well, you just aren't trying hard enough. Like that's to me, that's a lack of sympathy. That's like hearing I'm struggling empathy, and going, oh, I don't care. Like
I would say it's more empathetic than sympathetic, but I would say that like
lack of empathy, sure, yeah, whatever.
A lack of empathy is the characterization of conservative politics throughout the last 6,000 years of history. Like the idea of like I don't care about the peasants, and we replace lords and peasants with serfs, and then slaves, and then workers. Like we can change the terminology around, we can change the languages, but the idea is like, should we build a political system and a society that has empathy as its main goal, making life better for all of us, or should we build a society based off profit? Well, so far we've done the society based off profit thing, and the people have slowly been clawing away at that and demanding more and more depending on the nation, the time, the era.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the constant battle forever. I mean, like one day we live in Star Trek space gay communism, in my ideal world, but there's going to be a mining colony out there owned by some corporation that is having a revolution on it. That's having this same fight again.
What's that show called? The Expanse. If you want to see how capitalism turns out in 150, 200 years, watch The Expanse in its entirety. Yeah, it's amazing and it's kind of shitty, but
we can go three ways, right? Like there's this left-wing Star Trek view of existence, like, hey, let's find other aliens and be cool with them and like learn about the secrets of the universe. And then there's this middle ground technocrat liberal expanse. Like, well, we'll do all that cool stuff and we'll look pretty here on Earth and like we'll get all these achievements for humanity, but it's still going to be the horrible underbelly of us too, exploiting people because of where they live on asteroids or rimmers. And then there's Mad Max, which is the right wing like fascist end of
writing cars
addressing
for
climate
oil
change
I think
like if we don't do anything about climate change in the next 20 years, like we're fucking over the next generation like bad.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you read it, but like Wall Street is investing now in Wall Street is investing specifically. Their next big speculative market is water.
Oh yeah, no, was it years ago? I don't know if this is actually true, so I don't quote me on this, but like that the Bushes bought like a fuck ton of water in Peru or something a long time ago.
I don't know about that,
but
I know that capitalists are investing in water because water wars are going to happen soon.
For sure.
You can argue the conflict in Yemen and Syria are in part started by climate change and a lack of access to clean water. Almost a third of the world does not have access to clean water or sanitation still, which could be solved for less than I think it was $1 trillion could solve access to both clean water
and food
for both. Yeah, but that would be like the problem is food is easy to distribute. You could for $10 billion, that was the idea of what it was told. You can distribute food, but how long will it last? Right?
Yeah.
Setting up like piping and like clean water and water utility systems throughout the world. I mean, like ideally, we start moving to mega cities and like start planning them before they're made, right? And we're like, this is a grid system, and
they will. I'm full confidence in that. I'm doing some research into the future of technology right now, and that is absolutely like. I'm not too. Mega cities but like outskirts are gonna be kind of shit if we don't do something about the water.
There's no way that's the way it is right now.
Which it
cities
is.
are taken care of in the rural areas. Shit.
It just hasn't hit America yet fully. Like, I mean, shit. I mean,
dude,
Colorado's running out of water.
Dude, what are you
Texas
talking
and
about?
New Mexico.
Yeah, I was about to say there are parts of Texas like where you're living right now that if you drive 3 hours out in the middle of nowhere, you will see absolute abject poverty.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, for sure.
There are people with ringworm in their feet, like right now in America. Yeah, that are absolutely impoverished. Yeah. Like I in rural communities. The Democrats should be targeting with socialist and worker policies. Like they should be like, why are these big agro companies owning all your land? Like maybe we should take that back and give it to you to farm. Like, but I mean, like, I think that we do as we do in the show. It is a conversational format. We've dived off the deep end. I will say, to get back to Trump, like
I was gonna say, like how do we get back? But so he didn't get arrested, and America still sucks.
He
basically the moral of this whole episode.
I mean, that's pretty much every episode. This is the person who sucks this week, and America sucks too. Man, clip it and chip it, you hogs that comment. You're my best friends. I love you.
Well, that's the thing though. Like, I am not opposed to saying that. Like, you quote me on it. Like, I'm not opposed to admitting, faults of my past. I'm not opposed to saying that America is a broken, shitty place. That it might have technically we're very secure, like militaristically. Which that's subjectively good or bad. We've got plenty of resources. We've got some of the best technology and medical systems in the entire systems, not the actual the insurance and how it's distributed, the technology and doctors, things like that. Like, you could say America's great, or you could just simply go watch the first fucking 5 minutes of that Aaron Sorkin show on HBO where Jeff Daniels basically says, no, we fucking suck. And it's still true to this day.
I guarantee you
called
that
The Reporter,
there's quite a few
like
Americans that it's so bad. It's so fucking Aaron Sorkin.
Oh, it is. It is. But he wasn't wrong in that speech. Like, America's
he writes good dialogue. Yeah.
He's 20th in literacy or some shit like that.
I think, Tim, that like I think that America first off, like, I mean, it is important to self-analyze both your nation, your country, your time, and yourself. I mean, there's plenty of things about Andrew Turner that sucks.
Sure, me too.
I promise you that. But I mean, like, it's more that like, and this brings us back to the original thing, is like we want to see the people who do horrible shit be held accountable for their actions. And I think
not our hero when his followers.
But not our hero. And I think that's probably true for most people, no matter the side of the aisle that they come on. But I will say that, like, I mean, I got excited when Donald Trump tweeted it, but I wasn't excited because I was
truthed. He truthed. Or no, he's back on Twitter. Sure. Sorry.
Yeah. No, he truthed it. I don't think he's back on Twitter yet. But when he truthed it, God, I hate that.
It's the best.
I got excited, but I mean, like, I got excited because I want to see people in power in handcuffs.
Yeah,
like, it is not even a partisan thing for me. Like, Whenever somebody tweets like, well, what about Biden and Hillary and all that? I'm like, lock them up too. Like, please lock them all up. I tell you what, I will trade all those people in power, no matter what color tie they wear, for all the people in power you like. How about that?
Yeah.
Like, I will do a full reset. But man, like, to start to your original point, like, do I think he's going to actually get in trouble for this fucking Stormy Daniels shit? Probably not. He'll probably wiggle his way out of it. I don't think it matters, though. He's got the Georgia case, which is much more solid. I think that the special counsel investigation into January 6th is much more solid. I think that he's not going to win a general election. Like, that's just I
don't think he is. I think that shit in Georgia, I don't know if you just mentioned that. I think that will be the one to actually do it. I think this is like when I was reading about like with the Democrats worried about this, and I do understand their worry, but I'm also of the same vein as you. You know, corrupt people need to face their charges, despite the fact that it's paying a porn star, tax evasion like Al Capone. Like,
what's the difference between a king and a president if they don't have laws against?
Sure, exactly.
Like, what is the difference?
But like it's jumping the gun right now, like on a weaker charge, which I get. It needs to be done, but like they could lose.
But this isn't
political credibility. That's their worry and whatever. But
I understand that. Yeah, A, whatever. B, like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? Like, the DA's office isn't working with the Democratic Party. Like, the DA's office just got their evidence together and talked to a grand jury, and this is when it happened. Like, now, is it all happening at once in multiple courts at the same time?
Yeah.
Coincidentally, yeah.
That's what happens when you do a lot of crimes, dumb fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Over the course of about 5 years after those crimes, and all those crimes happened in about a 3-year period. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But like, and by the way, I will say this also: the New York case is the most truly politically motivated too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
He's definitely right. Donald Trump accountable, but nonetheless. Like, do I think that it looks good to anybody who doesn't already love Donald Trump, who isn't already definitely, no matter what happens, voting for Donald Trump if he's the Republican nominee? I don't think getting indicted by 3 separate courts, whether you get out of it or not, looks good. I think Hillary Clinton lost a lot of people in the middle because she had a lot of shit attached to her, including a possible indictment over her emails that never materialized. But still, just talking about that all the time, like, it puts Trump on defense.
Yeah.
Constantly. For the next 6 months, he's going to be talking about how he's trying to avoid going to prison. And I don't care if the Democrats are like, oh, well, he'll come back stronger. Oh, he's already strong. What are you talking about? He's already going to win the primary. Stop acting like DeSantis is going to win. Stop acting like that's going to be a better. Stop acting like it's a return to politics. Like Joe Biden said, with good Republicans. Like, there's no such thing. John Trump is just the same thing as Ron DeSantis. He's just a bigger fucking queen, and I love him for it. He's a fucking reality TV show host. That's the only difference between him and Ronald Reagan.
Dude.
And Ronald Reagan's brain was addled by fucking Alzheimer's instead of ego. Was the only two difference between those men. And I'm sorry, like, Donald Trump is just as bad as DeSantis. DeSantis is just as bad as Trump, and I think Trump is the weaker candidate now.
Yeah,
because he's not the outside candidate. Like, I'm going to change it all. I know these people. Watch what I do. Like, there are.
I'm not a politician. You were president.
President for 4 years. Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a lot of people that voted for Trump as like, oh, let's see how this goes. Like, I'll try it out. That are now like, dude, I've seen you in action. Like, you bungled COVID. Like, every morning I woke up and I had to know if you were going to start a war with North Korea. Like, no. You got impeached twice. No.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that does this help him with his base? Yeah, I think it'll help him in the Republican primary. I think it will make them think he's being targeted, because he kind of is.
I mean, yeah, no, he 100%. They're not even kind of. They're targeting him so they can make him not run for president anymore. That is the underlying goal of that. I mean, if anybody who says that is lying to himself. Yeah,
I think Georgia is doing it because they are really trying to establish that, like, a president cannot fuck with our elections. And I think all the states and a lot of attorney generals around the states are actually behind it.
Secretly, well, in Georgia, like, I mean, the Republicans are like, dude, we are going to lose all credibility if we don't attack. Like, all these guys they got their receipts, man. They're on the phone being like with him, and they're like, oh God, like thinking this is going to come out eventually. One of them died.
Left his voicemails and conversations with Trump to the DA, like in his will. Yeah.
Oh wow, shit, that's crazy. Oh, that's wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Who was this specifically again?
I don't remember his name.
Oh, whatever. It's just some.
But I mean, like,
some guy.
Yeah, some local judge or Republican that like got intimidated. Like, he may have been and he left the conversations to the DA. But I mean, like, do I think, first off, I don't think the other 2 investigations are coming after him to prove anything. I think that...
No, I think they're just going after him.
Yeah, I think the DOJ is going after him because they're like, well, that's not true. They're going after him to prove that, like, you can't try to do it.
Oh, yeah. They're not going after him for a political reason.
They're not trying to stop Trump from running. They don't care. They're like, you can't do a coup.
Yeah.
But I think New York District Attorney, I mean, he's running against... I'm sure there's a complex web of reasons he's doing it, but he ran as a guy who was like, I am going to hold Trump accountable. And I think that's what he's trying to prove that he can do.
Right.
And I get that.
Well, yeah.
And I think this is the weakest of the 3 cases. And I think it's funny that's the first one that came out. But like I made the analogy before we started recording, like it's like Capone with the taxes. Like, fuck it, I don't care. Like as long as Trump is stopped from being in any position of power ever again, I don't care how they do it.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like,
yeah, do it anyway. I'm good with it.
Like, and they can say like, oh, rule of law, and like we shouldn't be doing this. I don't care if y'all did that to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was about to say, well, people were like, oh, but what if they do it to our guy?
Bad things,
well, if your guy's corrupt.
Yeah. If people get caught for doing the corrupt stuff, they don't get to be in charge anymore. That's fair deal. No matter what side they're on, I'm fine with that. Like,
it's so funny. It's God. Like,
but the problem is that I have never been more edged than I have this week.
Absolutely. I was like, edge. Oh yeah, like, no, 100%.
I have paid women good money to not do as well as Donald did to me this week, because like every day, like I was waking up like, are we going to record today? Like, is the man gonna get indicted?
I know. Yeah, we're sitting like I'm like reloading Instagram and TikTok all day. Like, come on.
I'm doing my day job, and then I'm writing D&D, and then checking Instagram every 45 seconds to see if the man has been indicted.
Yeah, and a weak fart. Nothing happened, man. Like a complete.
Oh, it's gonna happen. In the next 2 weeks.
Sure. And you and I are talk about it then. But like, it's
like we'll win a vacation to like Cozumel, and we'll both be like away from a computer when it happens because God hates us.
Yeah,
that's what's going on.
I know. Like that's. I felt like this way for like I enjoy Colbert and Seth Meyers myself, but it was just funny that they were off this week.
You're such a lib.
I know. No, I'm not. Like I enjoy. I don't know. I liked the Colbert Report from the beginning. It's what got me into all of this.
I feel like Colbert would be fun to hang out with. Like,
sure.
He's a good Catholic.
And I would argue Seth Meyers is very
Catholic.
much more towards the left than you think he is.
He probably is.
Especially at the content that they put out, and Amber Ruffin's show as well. But no, it's just the fact that
silly. I think all the late night hosts are silly, and like they make they're
clowns.
Like they make like a but no, I'm fine with clownery, but it's that they're clowns with like even Trump. And to be fair, like
I think
Kimmel, Fallon gave them all a really bad name.
Sure, yeah, no, but that's the thing. I think you're equating, and trust me, I am not a Jimmy Fallon fan. You are equating Fallon with the rest of them. Colbert, but I would very much argue he definitely holds him to. He won't even say Trump's name on the show. He hates them that much. Like they blur it out if it's ever written down. Like
I mean, yeah, but hating Trump isn't like a leftist idea.
No, it's not a leftist idea. But they talk about he talks about defunding the police. Seth Meyers much more than Trump or than Colbert, but Colbert's also on CBS.
I think those people are far more left than any late night show host that we've had.
Absolutely. But anyways, my point was the fact that they were off this week and weren't going to like and we will. This thing is going to happen to us. We're going to be away from the computer. They're like probably racking their brains like, fuck, he's going to get arrested and I can't do a show on this. Like, I mean, it happened to me with America the Podcast multiple times.
We're going to host our first live show, and it's going to be 10 minutes from airing, and it's going to be us with like some super awesome guest that we got, like the Bernie chief of staff or something. And we're gonna be like 10 minutes out, and you and I are gonna be in this new suits that we purchased, like at this desk in a studio that we bought. And then all of a sudden, like it's gonna be like the emergency warning system is gonna come up, and it's gonna be like, dee! It's gonna be like, please seek shelter for the nuclear apocalypse. And we're gonna be like, God damn it.
We were gonna cover this now. Well, everyone, this is fucking it, I guess.
That cut to the future. It's just me holding your skull, like talking to a tuna can, being like, "What do you think, Tim?" I think you're right, Andrew.
I think you're right. People should. I don't fucking know. Some communist bullshit.
Communist bullshit.
Well, that's a good time as any. Communist bullshit is not bullshit. It's actually very good for you. Communistism is good for you.
Did you write that?
I did. Communistism is good for you.
This is also a cut back to the past of our past lives of me, of Frederick Marx, and you as Engels. What if we called it communistism? No. Give me more money.
All right. Well, yeah, that's it. Hopefully he'll get arrested next week, and maybe we'll pop on and say shit about it, or just stay tuned for the next episode next week, which is about populism again. Because we're covering the politicians this time, baby. And there are a lot that like
Stop edging me, Donnie. Stop edging me.
No, these are the politicians you like. Bernie and Fetterman and everybody else. They won't edge you. They'll treat you right.
They know how to.
Socialism, socialism will treat you right. Communism it may wreck you, but
socialism is foreplay.
Socialism is foreplay. Communism is... Well,
socialism asks you about how your day is before they initiate, sexual intercourse.
All right.
Socialism gives you a foot rub, There
you go. Yeah, and communism, well, they wreck you. Good night, everybody.
Did we just lose the point?
America the Conversation is a production of Shway Media and America the Podcast. The show was created and is hosted by Andrew Turner and Tim Philippi. The show is mixed and edited by Tim Philippi at Shway Media Studios in Austin, Texas. The show's theme song is by Timmy Two Step. For more information, please visit americatheconversation.com and shwaymedia.com. Thanks for listening.
This has been a production of Shway Media, all rights reserved. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com.